Ready to strengthen your reading comprehension? Take a listen.
All right, let's get right into it. Today we're going to unpack a legal term that you may have seen floating around online, exclusive equity. It's a phrase whose real meaning often gets lost in translation. So just imagine for a second, what if a single legal term had two totally different, almost opposite meanings? One that's been a bedrock of justice for centuries, and another that's, well, a much more modern invention. That's pretty much the situation we've got with exclusive equity. So in this explainer, we are going to do some myth busting. We're going to separate the legal reality from the popular fiction. So first things first, let's start with the basics. What does exclusive equity actually mean in the world of law? Okay, so the proper legal name for this is exclusive equity jurisdiction. Now I want you to focus on one word here because it's everything. Only. This isn't just some vague power, it's the very specific authority of a court to handle rights and fixes that the regular common law courts simply couldn't touch. To really get this, we need a super quick history trip. The legal system used to be divided. On one hand, you had the courts of law, which were like a rigid rule book. They applied the law exactly as it was written, no exceptions. But then you had the courts of equity, which were more like a referee, able to step in and call a foul when the strict rules were about to cause a seriously unfair outcome. So how did this split between strict law and basic fairness actually play out in the real world? Let's take a look at where these two paths of justice really started to diverge. This table really breaks it down. You see, courts of equity could jump in for a few different reasons. Sometimes they just gave a helping hand with procedure. That's called auxiliary jurisdiction. Other times they stepped in because, hey, they just had a better solution than the law courts. That's concurrent. But the one we're zeroing in on is exclusive jurisdiction. This is the big one. This is for cases where the right itself would not even exist if it weren't for the court of equity. So what's the perfect classic example of this? Trusts. Think about it. Under the old common law, if you handed property to a friend to manage for your child, the trustee, the law only recognized your friend as the legal owner. That's it. It took a court of equity to step in and say, whoa, hold on, that trustee has a duty to the child. Equity literally created that right out of thin air to ensure fairness. And it goes way beyond just trusts. This unique power created concepts like the equity of redemption, which gives a homeowner a fair chance to get their property back even after foreclosure, or something called the marshaling of assets, which is just a fancy way of saying you organize a debtor's stuff to pay off creditors in the fairest way possible. See the pattern? These are all solutions born from a sense of fairness, not from a dusty old rulebook. But here's the thing. This wasn't just judges making things up as they went along. This incredible power was guided by a set of core principles, these maxims of fairness. Let's check out what these rules of the road were. Yeah, equity is definitely not a free-for-all. It has these guiding principles called maxims. And just to be clear, there isn't some secret separate list of exclusive equity maxims. Nope, these are the universal guidelines for any case that comes before a court of equity. You can almost think of them as the greatest hits of judicial wisdom collected over centuries of trying to do the right thing. And Henry Gibson, who literally wrote the book on this stuff, just nailed the description. He said that any time your conscience tells you there should be a right, but the common law courts just shrug and say, sorry, can't help you, well, that's the perfect situation for exclusive equity jurisdiction to ride to the rescue. And these are the principles that make sure it's done right. You know, he who seeks equity must do equity. Basically, you have to be fair to get fairness. He who comes into equity must come with clean hands. You can't be involved in shady dealings yourself. The court also looks to the intent rather than the form, meaning it cares more about what was supposed to happen than just the legal paperwork. And of course, the big one. Equity will not suffer a wrong to be without a remedy. That's the whole reason this jurisdiction exists. So, that's the real deal. That's the established historical legal concept. But now, we've got to pivot. Let's talk about the modern misinterpretation where this whole idea gets yanked completely out of its original context. Because if you go looking for this term online, you're going to find something very different. It's used in a way that has absolutely no connection to centuries of case law, especially in theories connected to the sovereign citizen movement. And this right here is the absolute heart of the matter. On the left, we have the legal reality. It's a specific power of a real court, part of the judicial system that handles things like trusts. On the right, you have the pseudo-legal myth, this idea that it's some kind of personal,
private status that you can claim for yourself to become exempt from the law. These two ideas are not even in the same ballpark.
And this is often where the wires get crossed. People will quote Henry Gibson's book, Suits and Chancery, but here's what they miss. That book isn't a secret code to escape the legal system. It's a technical manual for lawyers and judges on how to operate within the system. It's a guide for a formal branch of the judiciary, not a loophole to get out of it.
So you might be thinking, okay, they're different, but why does it matter so much? Well, let's talk about the real-world impact of this kind of misinformation. Honestly, understanding the true meaning is absolutely vital. It's about protecting the integrity of a system that was designed at its core to provide fairness. When you twist foundational concepts like this, it can lead people down a really bad path, making arguments in court that are guaranteed to fail and often come with some pretty serious consequences. And that really leaves us with a bigger question, doesn't it? In this age where we're just flooded with information, how do we all get better at spotting when a complex idea, whether it's from law or science or history, is being twisted and taken out of context? That's something we're thinking about. Thanks for tuning in.
We not the same.